Good evening and welcome to Knittings and Sewings episode 36. This is where we talk about all things knitting, sewing, weaving, spinning, sometimes even some natural dyeing, a whole variety of different things, crocheting. And I wanted to, Walter and I both want to welcome you to mid-October. It's really finally getting delightfully cool outside and we are enjoying an evening on our deck. I wanted to share our latest projects and what we've been doing here in this early October. First of all, some of the things I want to share with you are not yet finished. We have a lot of projects in progress and a lot of different of the craft hobbies that are being worked on concurrently right now. So I don't have a lot of finished objects to show you, but I do have the one that I'm wearing. And Walter, if you'll get down, oh, there you go, just for a minute, I want to show everyone the forest canopy shawl. This is a shawl. I'm going to take it off and show you a little closer here. I actually made this shawl. I looked back and looked on Ravelry to find the date. I worked on this in 2007, and so it's a very long-lasting shawl. I've been wearing it since 2007. I think that's about 17 years, and it's held up very well. It is a shawl by Susan Anderson. She is a designer who does really good designs, and this one includes both the written pattern description as well as the chart. So whether you are a written pattern reader or a chart reader, you will be able to use whatever method you prefer in deciphering the design. But it's a 2 skein. This is a Jitterbug, Colinette's Jitterbug in the color Toscana. And it has beautiful, not only the green, but it also has some cranberry red in it, some navy blue, and even a little hint of yellow throughout. So it's a lovely yarn that I used. I took 2 skeins. I went back and checked. It took 2 skeins, so about 550 yards in order to make the size that I make. And it's more than a shawlette. It's a shawl. And I think it's 54 inches down the spine and about 60 inches wide. So really enjoyed making this, and I have especially enjoyed wearing it for the past 17 years. It's really stood the test of time, and I especially love wearing it in the fall because it just incorporates all the fall colors and is really the perfect weight, and just love it. So I would encourage you, if you've never tried the forest canopy shawl, to take a look at that. I wanted to follow up with the couple of episodes, the bag I was going to be making, and I showed you the fabric and said I'm going to be cutting out this fabric with Carolyn. I think we had just cut it out. And I want to show you the bag that resulted from it. This is a bag I sewed for a knitting/crochet project bag. And obviously it has a drawstring, which is really handy. On the outside, it has a pocket that can hold your crochet hook or your scissors and whatnot. It has 3 pockets on the outside on each side. And then on the inside, you have your lining. It's nicely lined, and it's a perfect medium-sized project bag. Then you have your handles here, which are a nice size to put through like this. You can also make a larger or a smaller bag out of this pattern. It's not actually a pattern, it's a tutorial. Rosie's has a craft tutorial on this. And I did not put pockets in here, but you certainly could do that, and I probably would do that the next time I make it. That'll be my next adventure. And if I made a bigger bag, I would make longer handles for a shoulder strap. But I really did like the way this came out, and I will give you a few more details here now. I wanted to give a few more details that you might find helpful should you decide to make your own knitting bag or project bag, crochet bag. this one was really easy by following the Rosie's craft bag tutorial, and I will put a link below. While there was no pattern per se, she gave you a step-by-step tutorial, and it was like a 45-minute tutorial. So what I was doing was, the first step is to cut out the fabric itself. And Carolyn came over that one afternoon, and we spent like 2 hours cutting out all the pieces according to the dimensions that she gave on the tutorial. And she also had a template that she supplied to, you know, you could literally print out that would give you the dimensions that you were needing and giving you more details. And based on that, I did also decide to make poster board pattern pieces. So in the future, when I want to make this bag, I'll be able to cut it out a lot more easily. But each piece, she has, you know, based on the template, I made pattern pieces. You could also use newspaper or pattern making grid paper that you can get from your local fabric store. But that was a tool I would find very helpful, is to both get the plastic ruler and some either cardboard or some pattern making material would make it all the more easy. And then also other helpful things would be to have a marking pen or chalk. I use chalk because I had dark fabric. You also could use, you know, a measuring tape. Those would all be helpful things. And then for the pellon, which is the bag lining stuff that you will iron on to each bag piece, it tells you which ones to put the interfacing. Like the pockets have interfacing. The drawstring does not. The handles do have interfacing. The pocket lining has none. And the actual main bag does have the pellon interfacing. And the main bag lining does. Anyway, it tells you on the template what each piece has and doesn't have. And so it's very easy to follow. You have a nice box bottom finish, which is very professional. You're doing that by cutting out little pieces in the corners, which she instructs you how to do. And then you're basically having your pocket fabric can match your handles, and then your main bag fabric is the biggest piece of fabric because that goes all the way down, of course, and that your pocket's attached to. And inside you need some lining fabric. You can either have it be the same fabric as your main bag, or you can have it be entirely different. You can have 3 different fabrics if you like. But it also has this drawstring at the top, and in order to put the cording through the drawstring, she suggests using not only a safety pin, but attaching the safety pin to a zip tie. And then that makes it so much easier to string this cording through the casing. In the future, I think if I were to make this again, I might want to put pockets on the inside lining, and that would be very easy to do. That would give me even more pockets. But on this bag itself, you do have pockets on the outside. So I will definitely make this bag in different sizes in the future, and I like the fact that because of the pellon, it stands up. So you could choose to knit or crochet right out of the bag itself. I really felt this was a winning project, and I'm happy to be using it. And inside, by the way, I have already put the yarn and the pattern for my next project that I'll be telling you about in the next episode. So make a bag if you'd like. Tell me what bags you have made and some of your favorite patterns if you've made them. I very much enjoyed this and would love to find out what ones you have done as well. I wanted to just show you a moment that I am working on the second sleeve, and I'm at the very top of the sleeve because this is going to be a dropped sleeve. So this is a size that does work for this sweater. But I'm almost ready to cast off, and before I do, I wanted to show you that the stitches of this sleeve fit on perfectly on this 16-inch Hobbii needle. And they have little 16-inch needles that are perfect for doing a sleeve sweater. And so I did want to mention that, and I will put them down in the show notes so that if you would like to, take a look at those, they're affordable. And again, I'm liking these even better than the Flexi Flips because it's growing much faster having everything on one needle. And I'm not doing the magic loop, which is what I don't like to do with sleeves. So this makes doing a sleeve a lot easier. Well, after 8 weeks, I finally finished the Apres Ski Knit-Along by Katie Jones and finished the sweater that she designed, that she and the Facebook group and 2 of my knitting friends all worked on together, this sweater. And now I have done the size 2, but discovered after completing everything that I really should have probably made a size 1, because even though I got gauge, I ended up with excess width and length. And so I'm going to show you, after trying to fix this, this was an extra 5 inches wide originally. So I had a 27-inch wide side on the front and the back, which would have made too large a sweater. And so here now, after tucking in the sides, I will end up with a 22-inch sweater, which on each side, which will be just about right, because knitting by itself has a natural stretch, knitted fabric. So that will fix that problem. I'm going to sew it in. I've already got one side sewed, and now I'm going to sew the other. But I still have a length problem, because when I tried this sweater on, it was going halfway down my thigh. So that's a little too long for my comfort. So I took about 1.5 inches maybe to 2 inches up at the top by pulling it in a little bit. And then I'm also going to try to, pull in about another inch or so and sew this down to eliminate a little length there. And then I'm going to also perhaps sew the hem down a little bit. So by doing those things, I think I will save myself at least a few inches and make it a little bit more fitting. And guess what? Surprise, surprise, the sleeve also is almost 3 inches too long. Because this is a dropped shouldered design, part of the body here, of the shoulder, becomes your arm, becomes an extension of your sleeve. So this is normally would be okay. I have short arms though, and so by the shoulder extending, this would actually end up being like down to here, which wouldn't be a very comfortable length. So what I'm going to have to do to fix this, you might want to zoom in to show this. I'm going to want to put all of this orange section that normally is on the sleeve, I'm going to have to scoot that in and either absorb all of that orange section or maybe clear up to the pink and have just the blue showing in order to come out with the right length of sleeve. I'm going to have to do a little bit of experimenting and altering here, and so join me in just a moment and we'll see the result. I finally am wearing the sweater, the Ski Apres or Apres Ski sweater that I've been working on for the past 8 weeks. And I'm going to stand up briefly here. I'm also going to show you at the sides some pictures of me wearing this sweater. But this is completed now, thank goodness. It took 8 weeks, and I have to tell you, I enjoyed some parts of the process, but ultimately I'm not extremely happy with the results. I just, went into this as a mystery knit along, and I did it with 2 other friends in my knitting group, as well as the whole Hobbii community. The Facebook group was wonderful for us all to share our projects and get, tips and advice from people as it was going along. I enjoyed that process very much. But the ultimate end result, I have to say, I probably chose the wrong size. I should have chosen a size 1, because even though this is a roomy sweater and I wanted a roomy pullover, it is very oversized. And I forgot the fact that with knit, you're going to have a lot of positive ease, or negative, which is it? You're going to have a lot of extra room in your sweater, just in the fact that it is a knit fabric. And so I was kind of between a 1 and a 2 in the, I got gauge, but Carolyn and I were both between a 1 and a 2. And so we opted for the size 2 in order to make sure it was roomy and not tight. We didn't want a tight sweater. And so in doing so, though, I ended up having to, as I told you a few minutes ago, I ended up having to take out a total of 5 inches on the sides, 2.5 on each side. I did that by sewing them in. And then also I took off about 3 inches on the length and 3 inches on the sleeves in order to come up with this current version. And it goes down, as far as length, you know, it goes down, here's my butt, you know, it goes down fairly far, but you know, it's not too bad. I mean, it's not quite a dress, but it is very roomy, very long. And again, this is after cutting it down a lot. This is probably what I should have ended up if I did a size 1. I imagine by making these alterations, I was able to get back to what would be about a size 1. That's my best guess. So would I do it again? I don't know. Again, the jury's out, but I think I will not be doing another mystery knit along. And I've said this before, so I can't swear to it. But my feeling is this is just confirmed that the mystery knit along aspect may not be for me. And my biggest disappointment in this is the drop shoulder. I'm not a fan of drop shoulders, and so therefore this is not the best look for me. I'm not thrilled with it. I've joked around saying that this is like my clown sweater. It may cheer me up in the dead of winter when it's all gray outside and we have a lot of snow and so forth. I might wear it some, but this is not something I see myself wearing very often. And again, the drop shoulder aspect is not something that I think is a very good look for me. So this is it. I wanted to show you the completed project. Next, I want to talk about the Pinglono, because I've been thinking about starting this up again, and I did restart it in September and August. August and September. I was working on it a bit and advancing farther into it. But I have decided, after this drop shoulder incident with this sweater, I've decided that since the Pinglono also has a drop shoulder, that this all the more confirms that I'm not going to find the Pinglono very wearable for me, the design itself with the drop shoulder. And so it's not a flattering look for me. And in general, this Pinglono, as I try it on, I become convinced more and more each time I try it on that it's not something that I'm going to want to go forward with. I was very tempted, to be honest, to throw it in the trash because it's not easy to rip out yarn when you've had all different colors and so forth and techniques meshed together. But I've decided instead of doing that, I am going to keep it in storage in the closet with this clear storage container. And my mom gave me this a long time ago, and I find it very usable. I'd like to have a bunch more of these. If anybody knows where you can order something like this, because it has a zipper, you can see through it. And so I think for a lot of my larger projects, if I do end up having to store anything in the future, having a few of these bags would be very helpful to have the see-through bags. So I'm going to look for more of those. If you know where you can get them, do let me know. But that is my decision too on the Pinglono. I'm making a lot of decisions right now because we're getting near the end of the year, and every year around the first week of November is my birthday. And so I decided to celebrate this year by taking a staycation. So I took off work this week, this coming week. I'm going to be off for 5 days, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Whereas I normally have a long to-do list, this week I made a wanna-do list. And so I'm very, very excited to get some projects in the works that I'm really wanting to work on, and taking away projects and acknowledging that the projects that I'm not wanting to work on, such as the Van Gogh fabric for my vest I was going to make, it's been sitting on the loom for a year now. It's clearly going nowhere because I'm just not feeling it. And frankly, the fabric feels really thick for a vest. I just don't feel like it's going to be something I would want to wear. And I'm definitely not enjoying the process of weaving it. So remember, my motto is love what you're making and wear what you make. So with that vest project, it doesn't meet either criteria. So I took it off the loom. I did it last night. And in its place, I'm excited about weaving some kitchen towels. So I just started last night winding on the warp for some kitchen towels. I'm going to make some waffle weave kitchen towels. That's my plan anyway. And so I'm going to be doing that. For gifts this year, whatever gifts I give, and I don't have very many people to give to because I have an aging small family and people pretty much have what they want. They don't need a lot of gifts. So we mainly try to be together on the holidays and we don't exchange much. But if I give anything at all, I think a kitchen towel or two for the people I want to give to would be a nice gift. So I'm not going to be doing the gift making like I did last year. If you remember, I had several videos where I made eyeglass cases and I made dryer balls. I made several different little small projects. And if you would like to refer back to those videos, I'll have a link to those, because if you are wanting to make some small, easy projects, I think the dryer balls were my #1 hit by far last year. I gave them to my coworkers and to some of my relatives. They really loved the dryer balls. So if you'd like to learn how to make those, I do have a video on it that I will post in the link below. And you are welcome to take a look at that. But overall, I've decided that I'm going to just refocus on what I'm most enjoying doing. And there's a video of Shannon Talks. There's a podcaster named Shannon. She lives up in Iowa, so she's not far from me. And I've been watching her videos a lot lately. She's mainly a crocheter, I believe, but she talks about yarn, and a lot of times she'll use affordable yarn. So I really like to watch that since I need to keep my budget in mind whenever I do buy yarn. And she's got some great videos. But her latest video, she was talking about her WIPs, her works in progress, and trying to figure out why she has certain works in progress that never go anywhere. And she was showing examples of several of them. And so I did a little self-reflection myself and realized that that's why I came up with the Penguono decision and the decision about the Van Gogh fabric. Because what she concluded is that the reason why she ends up letting projects sit for a long time is because she ends up realizing that they're not turning out well. As she's working on them in progress, she's not enjoying them. And she's fearing disappointment. So she's avoiding disappointment by just letting them sit and avoiding facing them. So I had the same thought. Yes, that is probably a lot of the reason behind my hesitation or putting projects away or leaving them on the loom, is if I am afraid of being disappointed or believe that I will be disappointed, I tend to just kind of let them stay on the needles, stay on the loom, or I shove them in a closet in a bag. And so I would like to make more conscious decisions about where I'm going with different projects. And just like at the stage of life I'm in now, I tend to DNF projects, DNF books, and do not finish. And in the book groups I'm on online, they'll say I'm going to DNF this. Well, I think that I need to do the same thing, more consciously decide, as I'm not enjoying a project, it's okay for me not to finish it. It's okay for me to frog it or, stop on it. And I'm back to that stage again toward the end of the year where I need to evaluate my projects again and think about what really is exciting to me. What do I want to work on? And that's where I'm going to be turning my focus. So until next time, love what you're making and wear what you make. Goodbye, everybody.